First sold-out show tonight, JB. How do you think it went?
It was fantastic. I mean, it was a lot better than I could ever imagined. Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I mean, the crowd loved it. It was the first time I've done a full hour on my own. And to be honest, I could have done more. I mean, the set list I'd wrote out, there was about 5 poems I missed off, and a load of stuff in between. But yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was intense. I mean, it was really good.
I see they're going away again, 4th time, this year. I don't know how they do, what they're spending here on beer. I bet they've got night flights, they can come and swank in here. They'll be signing the Baltic cases and all the new Aldi gear. I mean, he don't work and she's part-time. He done half, mate, you wonder. Me and Sid saved and saved for Sulu. He did now, but rain on Fonda. I got him steak for his tea. They're on £4.30. 40 pence for head of lettuce. Now, neck curtains are filthy dirty. Police were at their door again. Nothing but family of crooks. I'll lock them all up, throw away the gill, won't stand for it. Give us $4.
What have you been doing, like, leading up to tonight? Have you done, like, a few warm-up gigs, like festivals and stuff like that?
Yeah, I did the Apollo Festival in York. That was good. I did the Cheltenham Poetry Festival as part of Witchwood Festival at the Cheltenham Racecourse. That was pretty good. Going on virtually after the Stranglers had finished, which was something else. And then I've done this gigs with Terry Christian that you're aware of. I did Shangri-La, which is a Carlton club, as a warm-up to this in Prestwich. That was a great audience, that. And the guy who played the lead role in Looking for Eric, which is one of my favourite Ken Loach films. Yeah, he was in the audience at the front, and I was looking at him and I thought, oh, that's mad. Because I like Ken Loach films, you know what I mean? That was nice. And they really loved it. So I did sort of some of the new stuff that I'd done tonight there and and they liked it. So I thought I was comfortable to do it here, because there was a lot of new stuff in the show. But yeah, it was good.
Tweet it, just tell everyone.
Will do.
I can't see tweets.
I saw a tweet by somebody quite famous and they said, I do not tweet praise. I fucking do. Why would you not?
Yeah.
Just like the mum used to put me one lamp swim, it's the only certificate I got. The one lamp swim certificate was on that wall. And when everyone came round, she showed them.
Absolutely.
Back at Gym 4, do you remember that? Back at Gym 4.
Oh yeah.
I did that though, it wasn't mine.
From what I know anyway, you're the first poet that's supported like bands and whatnot since John Cooper Clarke. I believe he's supporting like
Yeah, I did Northside, yeah.
Northside and stuff like that. Tell us a bit about that.
So the Northside gig was something else. That was absolutely brilliant. I mean, I went on just before they were due to come on, which was like 9 o'clock at night, and there was 600-700 people in the crowd at the Academy baying for Northside. They didn't, in my opinion, they did not want a poet, do you know what I mean? And they were just been playing the Happy Mondays, Guy Cole Gerald, so out walks a poet, but it worked, I with like the Spanish Dolls and things with Mum used to stay, so if you can sort of get that common ground straight away, it works. I only did 10-15 minutes, but I think a lot of that as well has caused the success of this show to sell out.
As a poet supporting a band like Northside on a comeback gig, when folk haven't seen him for a while and stuff like that, you know what I mean? They're probably expecting music, this, that and the other, like, so...
Yeah, and a poet walks out.
Yeah, so how would you prepare for something like that?
Well, I just walked on stage and you have to think on your feet, and I was pacing up and down backstage and I thought, what am I going to say? What opening gambit can I possibly have? Because I've got tons of opening gambits, but nothing for a crowd of 700 drunken people waiting for Northside. So I walked on stage and of course we're playing a music and I said, well, how about that? They play some Manchester anthems and bring a poem out. It's a bit like getting to the vinegar stroke, someone chopping your cock off. Well, the crowd erupted, so straight into your poems, and they kind of accepting them. But I think a lot of them at the front of the audience had seen me stuff anyway, so that helps. It's not like they didn't know who it was, but quite nerve-wracking, but good. And then obviously this show selling out is off the back of that, and off the back of supporting Terry, and all the other stuff I've done, really, I suppose.
So as an up-and-coming artist, you're associated with a lot of other up-and-coming artists and bands and stuff like that. Like I believe you're quite closely associated with like the Moods and the back.
Death to the Strange, the Joint, all those great Manchester bands. Yeah, the Backhanders as well, one of my favourite bands at the moment. I've not done out with the Backhanders, but I've supported the Moods, Death to the Strange, all those. It's like a little bit of a tight-knit sort of collective in Manchester and Salford of bands at the moment. And whenever, I'll go and do a few poems before they come on stage, It's good.
So last question, so what's next then?
Well, hopefully this show, I've got on holiday. I'm going to go on holiday, I'm going to have a think about it and then take this show somewhere else. I'm already talking to someone about doing somewhere in St Helens, Portsmouth, and wherever I can get it in, and maybe do the same thing, sort of sell tickets. And if the interest is there, it'd be great, because I never really planned for this to happen. That's the strangest thing about it. I was just writing stuff, and then 2 years ago I came here at the King's Arms to perform at a poetry night. It kind of took off from there, really, and I've been all over. I've been Sheffield, Hull, Edinburgh, London. I've never really planned for it to get to this sort of stage. Especially selling out a show at the Mcr Fringe, which has been fantastic. But also, again, I must say the Mcr Fringe have been absolutely superb. They've supported me twice now for last year's show this show. And if anybody ever wants to get involved with that, definitely recommend it. Yeah.
So we've had a punk poet, so here's to the mod poet. You know what I mean?
Mod poet, yeah. Nice one.
Let's go Spanish dolls. Was it Benidorm, Lanzarote, Friend Roller or Salou? On velvet maps hung up like plaques in a council house front room. With the wood chip and Danny glitter and a nicotine dart exhaling the odds and ends and current trends made the 70s kitsch feeling. Was it double diamond, Watney 7, Harp or Baby Sham? Stacked and stored on the old signboard that once was the radiogram. With ornaments in pride of place from every seaside town, and a mouse was harassed in a green brandy glass by a cat bending over looking down with their ring. Was it Radio Reynolds, Radio 1 or Radio Luxembourg that as we choke in a room full of smoke played the tunes that we hadn't heard? And the flamenco Spanish senorita dolls on the mantelpiece. A gift from Spain, they watched the pulmonary vein fill up with chip pan grease. Was it World in Action, World of Sport, Walden's Weekend World, a midweek thrill from Ben Hill and them semi-naked girls? You would have been next one if Ben Hill, but it's gone. And a version of the crying boy cried upon the wall, and next to the Pope hung up with Rose, St. Peter and St. Paul. Was it cancer, emphysema or a massive heart attack? And the smell of flowers in the final hours turned out all dressed in black. And stripping through that wallpaper with sweat and grit teeth where wedding vows and 1,000 rounds revealed the love underneath. And the flamenco Spanish senorita dolls on a mantelpiece have all but gone, except for one who sits inside of me.